Multiple states held primary elections yesterday, and among the results was loss of squad member Cori Bush. That was a nationally watched election. And after she lost, she lashed out against the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, also known as AIPAC, but she blamed them for her takedown.
Pulling me away from my position as Congresswoman. All you did was take some of the strings off. But all they did was radicalize me, and so now they need to be afraid. Let me say this. AIPAC, I'm coming to tear your kingdom down.
Wow. Well, that was one thing that came out of yesterday's election, primary elections. What else did we learn from yesterday? Well, joining me now with an election roundup and an analysis of it all is Matt Carpenter. He's a director of all this stuff at FRC Action. Matt, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Great to be with you, Jody. Thanks for having me.
Well, listen, it's great to have you. I know you were busy late last night. In fact, you were sending texts to me. We were going back and forth on some things, as always the case on these election nights. But give us a quick overview of the results yesterday across the country. Washington, Missouri, Michigan. Give us an overview.
Yeah, well, you hit on the highlight first there, Missouri, the show me state, right? And you saw Cori Bush kind of dig her heels in there at the end, not going down gracefully. She's going to lash out at AIPAC and not showing any remorse or even really kind of talking about her time in Congress. But another highlight from the results last night was the performance of Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey, who actually got the most votes statewide last night and by a wide margin. And so I think that's sort of a testament, frankly, to just the way that he's handled that role as Attorney General. And so for those in our audience who care very much about faith, family, and freedom, I think they've seen some of his good work, and voters responded in a big way last night, supporting his candidacy to once again be that state's top law enforcement official. But also, you pointed out, Michigan had elections last night. On the congressional side, they voted for the Republican and Democrat standard bearers. Alyssa Slotkin and Mike Rogers, respectively, won the Democrat and Republican primaries there. But also in Kansas, former, current incumbent Jake LaTurner announced he won't seek re-election in Kansas's 2nd congressional district. And so that kicked off a competitive primary there where former Attorney General of Kansas, Derek Schmidt, prevailed in a heated primary there. That's a safe Republican seat. So ostensibly, we can assume that Schmidt will do quite well in 89 days. Jody, can you believe it? 89 days until the election. But we're also keeping our eye on Washington too. There's a race in Washington 4 on the Republican side where incumbent Dan Newhouse is actually trailing with 65% of the vote in there last I saw. So it's going to be a steep climb for him to get back in that one. I don't think that one's been called, but we could have 2 incumbents going down last night.
Wow, interesting. I was not aware of that one. It's interesting to me, and I know we've got to move on here, Matt, but the show me state you brought up, Missouri, you had Cori Bush, radical squad member, left wing, on the one hand losing, and Andrew Bailey, a strong right-wing conservative, winning. Do you think that's a statement that's being made that people are rejecting this radical left wing and embracing what they know to work, the conservative values?
I think you're right, and I do also want to make a point here about Cori Bush's loss. You have one incumbent lose from the squad, and it's kind of a one-off event. You can write it off, but we have to remember Jamal Bowman lost his primary in June, and he was also kind of a similar antagonistic towards AIPAC, anti-Israel, had pro-Hamas sympathies, and he went down by a huge margin. And so when you have two of them go down, you got the beginnings of a trend there.
Yep, good point. Matt Carpenter from FRC Action, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it so much, keeping us up to speed on yesterday's elections.